Hi and welcome to another battle report. This time it's against Simon, who stopped by on his way to the ETC warm-up in Denmark. He brought his demons, where he had a very fast and lust-heavy army. In my case, I do something I very rarely do. I change almost nothing since the last game. The only changes which were made were on the oracles, which I had forgotten to do for the last game, where my level 3 now has the wandering familiar, and the level 1 does not have the extra spell anymore. Since I haven't had to change the list for this game, I had some goals for myself too. When I do these reports and think back on the games, there are some things I feel like I need to have like a mantra in my head to do them automatically in every game. First of all, I always need to have some kind of plan for how to use the terrain, and then practice patience. So over to the game. When I get to choose the side, I have already forgotten the first one. Guess I need to tattoo it to my hands or something to make it a habit. I also get to start deploying, and my main focus is for my bolt throwers to get a clear shot. We alternate for a while, but in the end I get the first turn by deploying my last units together. It was a regular battle line deploy, and we also had hold the ground scenario. I think the scenario affected my deploy a bit too much, since my lines are heavily focused on the middle, where it's very open, which also makes it hard to limit multi-charges such from its many fast combat units. For spells, my level 3 got Thunderbolt, Lightning Storm and Stars Align, while the level 1 got Curse of the Westerlies. His Harbinger got Miasma, Chariot and Mindracer, and the Frenzy Bound spell. From my top, between Buddha and the hill, is a Chariot, then Raiders. Next is the Altar with level 1 behind, a Bolt Thrower, Guards with the General and Harpies behind. Then level 3 and another Bolt Thrower. On my right are the Blade units and the second Chariot. On his side from the top we see a hint of a unit of Fiends, then the Herald with a unit of Sirens, Slaughterers with Chariot in front, more Fiends and then the Shrine behind. More to the middle are the Fury units and the other Slaughterer unit, then another Chariot, more Fiends, more Sirens, and out of the picture a Carnal Chariot and some fast cav. To begin with, I see his Chariots as the biggest problem, since they can reap a heavy toll for a low price if I don't deal with them. So my main focus is in the first turn is to get in position to shoot at them. With magic I do some wounds to his fast cav, and I think I also cast Stars Align on a Bolt Thrower. Shooting gets some wounds in on every Chariot and kill one more of the mounted Sirens. He then moves his stuff up, but he does not move at full speed. He also has a hard time finding room for everything, so some units are hanging back. He gets the icon off and make my Raiders frenzy, and thereby killing 2 of them. So in my turn I first off pass all my frenzy checks, then only my oracle moves into cover. In the magic phase I might have gotten Stars Align off again on a Bolt Thrower, and one of my Raiders died to the frenzy spell. Shooting continued to pick wounds off from the Chariots. So it's his turn again, and he still carefully moves his stuff forward, but since his army is so fast, he's now in position to charge me in the next turn. In the magic he gets Miasma off with overwhelming force, lowering the move of my guards with 1, since he is afraid of them charging his Fiends. The miscast kills a couple of Sirens and ends the magic phase. So my turn 3, and I fail to rein in my urges to charge stuff. First off, the small blade unit charged the sirens together with the chariot, which is in the flank. So far my planning is sound, but then the big blades unit failed their frenzy and charged in too. Not the worst of charges, but I had needed them more to the middle. Next comes some charges I could have tried to wait a turn to do. My altar and chariot charge his fiends furthest to my left. The altar need an 8, which it should manage, but I was wrong to count on it when so much depended on me getting it. I don't know if the raiders had move enough to get around and shaft them, but that would have been a better plan, and then the altar and the chariot could have charged the closest unit instead. The guards need an 11 to reach the other fiend unit, and just taking a chance, I just assumed they were in the flank. So when all charges were declared, both my blades got in, but not the flanking chariot. The guards roll 11 and get in, but turns out they were in the front, while only the chariot reached the other fiends, and the altar failed. Betting everything on my altar also had buffed itself instead of the guards, which would have been much nicer in this case. I don't remember if I forgot to move the harpies or if I had some plan there, but I think it would have been way smarter to try to chaff his shrine or something. I dispelled the frenzy on the raiders on his turn, by the way. In magic, I think I thunderbolt his carnal chariot off and then cast Curse of the Westerlies on his fiends that fight the chariot. The remaining shooting do some wounds here and there, but nothing consequential. Although both his chariots are down to 1 wound. In combat my chariot fluff and do 1 wound before it dies. The guards kill 4 fiends with him rolling a bad unstable test. He killed about 6 together with Oracle, which I don't know why I didn't just move out on the earlier turn, with him having no ranged threats. On the right I win big, and his sirens go poof. The big blade unit overrun into the fiends. Even though the right flank looks good, my army is now too far apart, which it cannot afford to be, so it's not really looking that good. So, now comes his counter charges. A chariot into the flank of the blades, which stand a bit crooked because of the hill. His other chariot, the Furies and the Shrine, charge the gods. The fiends that kill the chariot also charge into the flank of the gods. For magic he gets Frenzy on the Shrine and not much else. In combat he kills a whole bunch of blades and only lose 2 back. I lose this one, but stick on Steadfast. His chariots then kill 10 guards. His chariot and the Shrine, I should say, to kill 10 guards on impact. Had he killed 11, his Shrine would have been out of combat, which I would have preferred, since he then had lost 20 or so attacks. I then killed the last fiends from the wounded unit and all but 1 fury before he kills all my remaining guards. A shrine with 22 attacks and impacts was nothing to sneeze at, and the prince break and is run down by the fury and the shrine, which were the only ones left in combat. My turn 4, and I buff the altar again and makes another go at the fiends. Then I move the chariot and the small blade unit towards the middle, and the harpies chaff his chariot, since I don't want them to block my shooting, and the chariot might be a threat to my altar. The raiders fail the march block but moves round the forest. I think I get both Lightning Storm and Thunderbolt off on his shrine, and together with shooting, both the shrine and the last fury die. In combat the blades do some wounds and lose some back. The altar kills 3 together with unstable, but take some wounds back. He then charged the Harpies with the Chariot and the Slaughterers. In Magic he gets Frenzy off on the Slaughterers, losing 1 to the spell. I think he also gets Miasma off on the Altar, lowering the weapon skill with 3. In combat he fluffs his impacts, so my Harpies takes the last wound of his Chariot. 1 survives and breaks, and the Slaughterers overrun into the Altar. Before they got the Frenzy, I actually wanted this, since it gives me easier kills, but now things are different with the extra attack. So in combat I kill 4 Slaughterers, and the Altar now only has 1 wound left. The blades kill 1 Fiend, leaves the last one with 1 wound, and are now only 2 left of their own. I charge the now bigger blade unit into the Fiends, the remaining Fiend I should say. Now I think that my only chance is to shoot things down and in some way prevent him from getting the scenario objective. So first off I get Lightning Storm off on the Furies, killing 2 and then killing the last fast cab. In hindsight I know I should have focused on killing the remaining Furies too, since he now can easily redirect my blades as long as 1 survive. I instead focus on the Slaughterers, but fail a bit since he ward saves pretty good. In combat the Fiend managed to kill the last 2 blades from the big unit before it dies to the other unit. In the other combat I mess things up by including devastating charge attacks in my roll, killing all the Slaughterers, but then I realize my mistake and we do it again with the right amount of dice this time, and Karma makes me fluff instead, only killing 1. He in turn then slaps back and the Altar dies. In his turn he just moves to secure the objective and redirects my blade unit. I don't remember what spells he cast, but he miscasts and get Breach in the Veil, killing a whole bunch of both Sirens and Slaughterers, but he only used 3 dice, so his Herald is in no danger. I think it also escapes any wounds. So for my last turn his miscast now has given me the chance to destroy all his banner units and in that way actually get a small win. So I go for that alternative. Chariot charge his Slaughterers and the Raiders go into the back of his Sirens, while the Blades charge his Furies. In Magic I get Stars Line off on the Raiders, while all my shooting just kill the Slaughter unit on the hill. So far so good. Blades kill the Furies and have to overrun since they're still frenzies, so they are now out of the game. In the other combat my Chariot fluff badly, only killing 2. He wounds me back, but fortunately he rolls badly for unstable, so the hope still lives as my Chariot overrun into the Sirens. In this combat though dies pretty quickly, since both the Chariot and the Raiders fluff and then both unit dies. So his Sirens live, or actually the Chariot didn't die directly but got run down instead of dying. I had preferred if it had died, since now his unit stands straight in front of my Oracle instead. So in his last turn he gets greedy and charge out his Herald at the Oracle and then move to claim the objective with the unit. His Herald takes a wound on the stand and shoot, and but then get in. The Fiends charge a Bolt Thrower. So the last combat gets quite epic too, when he hits all 3 of his attacks. Wound on 2+, but he then rolled 2 ones, so the Oracle only takes 1 wound. Unfortunately my Oracle failed to wound the Herald back, at least it sticks. And there the game ends with a victory for the demons. So after this game, I feel like I need to practice patience a bit more, since I failed on that account. I also failed at the terrain account, so I need to better myself there. I also need to be a bit better at managing the risk of bad rolls, as the Altar's failed charge ruined much of the game for me. For the list, and even though the Skull Splitter worked pretty well in this matchup, I think I'm actually better off with a third bolt thrower. And if I skip the Skull Splitter and a harpoon on one of the chariots, I can get one in with repeating shots. Other than that, I think it's mostly my playing I need to step up from now on, and the list will not change that much, I think. A bit more news then before I end this. At the recording moment, I also just signed up for the Swedish Championship in August, and we are going to have a local tournament some weeks before that, so hopefully I will have had enough games to be better prepared for the championship than I was for the last tournament, and it's good to have something to look forward to after the vacation too. So, exciting times ahead, but until then, take care and I'll see you next time.